Hello and welcome to Stories from the Stage. I'm joined by a man of various talents. He's an escapologist, he's a magician, and a comic. I'm joined by the wonderful Mr. Joe Pollard. How are you, Joe?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you, Luke?
Yeah, good, thank you. Good. So you're starring in the pantomime Aladdin at the King's Theatre, Portsmouth. How's that been so far for you?
Yeah, it's been really good. We've had pretty much full houses the whole run. We're about a quarter of the way through now. It's a day off today, which is nice. The rest of the cast seem to be enjoying themselves, as am I. And yeah, it's been a really great experience.
That's good to hear, Joe. That is good to hear. So you mentioned the cast there. You're starring alongside Sean Williamson, Dusty Lee, and the Dame Jack Edwards. How's that been
Yes.
for you?
Yeah, it's been really good. Sean is naturally good at comedy. If you might remember, he was in Extras as well, and he was in EastEnders. Those are two of the main things he's sort of known for. But he's also a very good singer as well. Rusty is she's manic to perform with. She's always brings a lot of energy and she's also a very good singer. We've also got Jack Edwards, who is the Dame. He's kind of like the resident Dame there. He's been there for many years. We've also got Leo Abad, who was in Bat Out of Hell, the musical. He's a great dancer, great singer, and we've got Esme Bowdler as well, who was in Heathers, the musical Heathers, and she's a fantastic singer. Yeah, it's a really great cast actually.
That's good to hear. That is good to hear. It's a very musical focused cast, isn't it? From what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. There's a lot of strong singers in there for sure. A lot of them have done lots of things on the West End and things like that. Whereas I come in more from a comedy sort of variety background. So it's good to have a good balance.
It is, isn't it, really? Because that's what Panto's all about. It is a variety show.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
what I was wondering is, what do you think makes a good cast for you then? What do you think brings that balance together?
I think it's whether everybody sort of gels and gets on, you know. I mean, that's probably quite cliche, but I think if people are enjoying themselves backstage, then naturally it'll flow out on stage, really. I think that's something that you almost can't fake.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah, because as long as you get along backstage, yeah, it would show to the audience. And I mean, from what I've seen, what you posted on social media, it does look like that, which is really good. How many pantomimes have you been in now?
Um, do you know, I wouldn't be able to tell you. Um, I started doing it when I was quite young with, you know, amateur stuff, and then moved into sort of variety performing, and then started doing pantomimes professionally. My first professional pantomime was Aladdin. It was on a park, you know,
Mhm.
like a holiday park.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and then I did another one with that same company. And then I went to Norwich Theatre Royal, where I was with Richard Gauntlet, Joe Tracini. We had Shan Reeves, Graham Cole as well in that one. That was a really good one. And then I moved to the Beck Theatre in
Hmm.
Hayes, which was with Imagine, the company Imagine, and I was with them for 3 years. I did Cinderella, then we did Beauty and the Beast, and then we did Aladdin, and
Oh
now I'm
wow.
at the King's doing Aladdin again.
Oh, that's good. I mean, Aladdin as a pantomime is a good one for the comic, especially as wishy-washy, isn't it?
Probably, I would say the second best for a comic. Really, I like Buttons in Cinderella. I think that's a great one because he's sort of really involved in the story of it. And there's different levels that you can play with as Buttons and things like that. But Aladdin is a good one as well. And Aladdin tends to have a lot of cast as well that you can bounce off.
Yeah, I have to say, I think Buttons is my personal favorite as well. I mean, because of the character development of Buttons as well throughout the show,
Yeah,
starting off
he
as
kind of
having
goes
that
on a
interest.
journey as well. He
Yeah,
sort of has a character arc of sorts in that. So yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it is good. Yeah. So, what would you say would be your earliest memory of pantomime for you?
Well, I remember the first pantomime I ever watched, which was in the Athenaeum in Plymouth, and it was Mother Goose. And I don't remember a lot of the details about it, but I know that it was Mother Goose, and I remember going with my nan. I think it was raining on a a day. And we were looking for something to do, and she took me to the pantomime, and I think it's probably my first memory of going to the theatre. I can't think of any that were before that.
Oh, that's lovely. That is. I mean, Mother Goose is one that's been revived recently as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it sort of went for a while, and no one was doing it, and then it sort of came back. I think because I believe that Crossroads, I think they're called now, but they brought it back as one of the sort of out there ones, you know, because they tend to do a few out there ones like Robinson Crusoe and Robin Hood and things like that. So it was sort of one of those. But yeah, there's lots of different ways you can take that story as well. It's sort of quite open to interpretation. Mother Goose. I think Ian McKellen did Mother Goose fairly recently. I think within the last sort of few years, if I'm not
Yeah, it
mistaken.
was a touring production. I think it ran from either last year or the year before with him.
Yeah,
And John Bishop, I think it was John Bishop as
John
comic.
Bishop. Yeah, I think you're right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's nice they're doing that though. Like bringing back these old fairy tale stories.
Yeah,
So we're getting a
there's
bit
a
of
few that have
variety.
sort of become a little bit popular to do again. Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's just the fashion at the time, I suppose.
Of course. What would you say makes pantomime special for you personally? What do you think
Um,
is the draw?
for me, I think it's a very British thing, you know. There was a gentleman came to watch Esme in one of the shows just gone. I think it was either yesterday or the day before, but he come from America, you see, and he's kind of like messaged her in the interval and said this show is like a fever dream. Like I don't know what it is, but I kind of get it. I get why it's a thing, and it's just interesting to see how it translates to people who don't know what it is. But I think quite quickly you understand that it's kind of a variety show with a story that sort of ties it all together, really.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. I mean, it
Yeah.
is interesting watching like people who are unfamiliar with pantomime get into it because I mean, they then get into it, they then tell other people, and then it carries over. More
Yeah,
people come and see it. It's special that way.
I think a lot of people don't realize the history behind it because it comes from the Italian kind of school of
Commedia
acting.
dell'arte.
Yeah, that's right. And that kind of transitioned into Shakespearean things. Well, a lot of the things that you find in Shakespeare, you also find in pantomime. You know, you have the stock type characters, you have the lovers, the jester, and the dame actually, because the female roles were, of course, played by men, and that's kind of where the dame comes from. You know, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of there's a lot of similarities between the two, and I think I think it is up there with the highest art form, really, because you've kind of got to be good at everything.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, that is a good point because, yeah, to make a good pantomime, you have to understand all the core elements of it to bring it all together, as you said.
Yeah,
So I think moving away from pantomime for a bit, you went on to Britain's Got Talent. What was that like?
it was a fun experience. You know, I got asked by somebody who had seen Cinderella
Mm-hmm.
in Hayes, and they asked if I would go and be on the show basically. and it was interesting because they have acts that are kind of already established to fill spaces basically. Because if you watch the show, they have big queues of people auditioning kind of on the day, and a very very small proportion of those people will actually get even in front of the judges. You see, so they have to have acts that are there that can kind of fill time, so to speak. The actual section that I did wasn't ever broadcast on television, but it was a fun experience nonetheless, and it's something to say that you've done, I suppose.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I mean, it is experience at the end of the day that matters, like being able to go onto that stage and entertain that audience, which I'm sure you
Yeah,
did quite well. So
yeah,
you're
it
also,
was it was
yeah.
it was quite fun. Yeah,
So you're also an escapologist, aren't you?
yes.
What's your favorite escape to perform?
Well, I perform the straight jacket escape in my show, usually as a closer. That's kind of well, it's kind of the classic when you think of escapology. You think of Houdini in the straight jacket. It's sort of like the poster child of escapology, really. So that's a really fun one. I've performed rope escapes and chain escapes and things like that. Which is they're all kind of unique in their own way, really.
They are. Have you ever performed the milk can escape? It's one of my
No,
favorites.
no,
No?
I've never performed that. Maybe I will do one day.
Yeah,
It's finding a milk can
it
because they're
is.
they're actually,
Yeah.
they're actually quite hard to come across nowadays with the sort of specifications you need to do the illusion.
Yeah. I mean, I saw Danny Adams perform it. Such an impressive illusion when
Yeah.
done. Yeah, it is such an eye-catching
Yeah,
trick.
that duo are really, really, really good. Clive,
Oh,
Clive,
they are.
Clive and Danny. I've seen them at Butlins many times, and they're of course pantomime performers as well. They've been doing it for, well, forever
20
really.
years. This
Yeah,
is their
yeah,
20th year at Newcastle, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Do you know what? It's impressive though. Do you think that, like, for you personally, could you see yourself doing panto for that duration of time?
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep doing it until I stop enjoying it, or I can't do it. So
Fair
yeah,
enough.
I
Yeah.
really like pantomime. It's kind of like the highlight of the year for me, really.
Same, same. I agree completely. Can you see yourself moving into other roles such as Dame or Baddie?
Well, I started off, believe it or not, as an ugly sister.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I started off as that particular role because I'm quite short, and usually they pair you up with somebody who's very tall or big built. So that's how I kind of started in pantomime. So I have done other roles. I've never played a villain. I'd quite like to one day. I think that could be quite fun, but I think that the comic role is sort of, I guess, more suited to what I do.
Yeah, that's understandable. That is understandable. What would be your dream cast for pantomime if you could
Or
cast your own past and present?
it would depend on what pantomime it is, you know.
So say, I mean, Cinderella's a good one for you.
Cinderella. Well, I always like to play buttons in Cinderella. I would probably cast. Oh, I'm trying to think. There's all sorts of characters in Cinderella. The ugly sisters, maybe like the two Ronnies.
Oh, that would have
Uh,
been good.
I think they would be fantastic. Well, actually, Ronnie Corbett did play the ugly sister a fair few times. I think. Yeah, I think he played it with Paul Merton in the. They used to have him on ITV, but I think the actual two Ronnies would be great as the ugly sisters. Sue Holderness, who I worked
Mhm.
with in Hayes, doing Cinderella. She was our wicked stepmother, and I think she is a fantastic wicked stepmother. So I'd probably cast her as well. And then Cinderella, I think Esme actually this year is very good, and I think she'd make a good Cinderella. She's blonde, great singing voice, can dance, can do that. So I think that would be a pretty good lineup. Yeah.
Who would be your Baron Harder, do you think?
Oh, that's a tricky one.
Someone like Paul Chuckle or
Yeah, yeah, that would be a good shout actually. Paul Chuckle.
yeah?
Yeah, yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, that's fair. To be honest, I saw him as Baron Harder maybe a couple of years ago, and
Yeah,
he is really good in that role. He is. I think
yeah,
it was his first panto after Barry passed, and he did
right, yeah.
such an amazing job in that role. He really
Yeah,
is
I mean,
iconic.
Paul's a great guy. He really does love what he does, and I think it's great how he's carried on.
It is incredible. It is. What advice would you offer to someone who wants to follow in your footsteps, either in magic, comedy, or escapology?
I think just kind of get out there and do it. Really, I mean, it's great to have knowledge behind you, though. I think you've got to obviously train in whatever you want to do. And there's an old saying that if you do a thousand hours of something, you'll naturally be a reasonable level of it. So I always find that when I'm, learning something new, you set a few hours aside and kind of practice it. And well, especially if you want to perform in front of live audiences, then take every chance to speak in front of people. Say if you have to do a speech at a wedding or the presentation at school or something like that. It's always good to stand in front of people and to do that, because there's kind of no amount of training that can prepare you for that apart from actually doing it. And it's about having the confidence in what you're doing and enjoying it, really. Yeah, so I would say that's a great one if you want to perform in front of live audiences. If you want to perform in film or television, that's a completely different thing. There's a lot of nuances to it. It's a different discipline of acting. So if you wanted to do something like that, watch people who you think are good as well is another good tip, and that goes for both. Find people that you like to watch, study them and say what makes that person good, what's he doing with his face there, how is he moving his body, how's he using his voice and things like that. Yeah.
Thank you. That is really good advice. So I think that's all of my questions. Thank you, Joe, for coming on. You're starring in Aladdin at the King's Theatre Portsmouth,
Yes.
and it runs until the 31st of
Runs
December,
until the
doesn't it?
31st. Yeah, yeah. We
Wow.
also have I don't know what the availability is like, but there is an adult pantomime as well that's sort of like 18 plus on the 29th, I believe. But that one is selling out really, really, really quickly. So that one should be quite fun to do. And then the rest are, standard family pantomimes.
Perfect. Thank you again, Joe.